What's up, family? A former suburban Houston police officer is set to die by lethal injection today for hiring two men to kill his estranged wife nearly 30 years ago. Yeah, man. Send him to the upper room. That's right. Man, what it take to get one of these dirty, low-down, uncivilized mutts off the streets. Backstory. 65-year-old Robert Fratter is scheduled to receive a lethal injection for the November 1994 fatal shooting of his wife Farah amid a contentious divorce and a custody fight for their three children. Prosecutors say Fratter organized a murder for hire plot in which a middleman, Joseph Priestash, hired the shooter Howard Guidry. Farah Fratter, 33, was shot twice in the head by Guidry in her home's garage in the Houston suburb of Atascocita. Robert Fratter, who was a public safety officer for Missouri City, has long claimed his innocence. Prosecutors said Fratter had repeatedly expressed his desire to see his wife dead and asked several acquaintances if they knew anyone who would kill her, telling one friend, "I'll just kill her, and I'll do my time, and when I get out, I'll have my kids," according to court records. Priestash and Guidry were also sent to death row for the slaying. Now check this out, fam. Robert Fratter was first sentenced to death row in 1996, but his case was overturned by a federal judge who ruled that confessions by his co-conspirators should not have been admitted into evidence. He was retried and resentenced in 2009. Check this out, fam. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, if you had a parent who took out another parent, would you want the state to take out that parent you have left alive? Would you want the state to murder the parent who murdered? I've seen it go both ways. I've seen some kids be like, yo, kill him. Kill him. She deserved it. He deserved it. But then I've seen others just vehemently fight for the parent who did the murder because they don't want to have two dead parents. It's crazy. I don't know what I would do under those conditions. I don't know. Don't know. I'm glad I don't have to ever learn either. Now, some people are saying 30 years is too long to wait for an execution. I don't know, fam. What about when they get it wrong? What about the people who have been exonerated after 30 years, 40 years, 20 years? You know? How can you really put a time on it? Now, I get it if the person did it and they say they did it, you know, what's the appeals stuff for? But obviously this guy is saying he didn't do it. But still, you know, if that's, how can you really have clear-cut evidence unless you got a video and you see him actually doing it? You can't really believe witnesses a lot of times because you know people lie all the time. Sometimes 10, 20 people will get up on the stage and tell a lie. They'll tell the exact same lie. It's called a conspiracy. So how do you really trust the system when oftentimes prosecutors suppress evidence? Then you have the incompetent lawyer who falls asleep during a murder trial. What do you do about that? I think there's too many variables here for people to just be like, hey, no matter what, you die within 2 years. Execution, 2 years, you're out. I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I think that, you know, It's easy to say that when you don't have an actual loved one who is innocent of a crime. And, you know, people want them dead and you know that that person is innocent. And the state execute him anyway, like they did Gary Graham. Gary Graham was an inmate. Well, he was an inmate in Huntsville prison out here in Texas. He was from Houston. I actually went to his funeral. But Gary Graham was railroaded by the state. He was one of those dudes, he had a checkered past. And they actually killed him for some stuff that he did prior to what they accused him of doing. They accused him of murdering somebody. They straight up lied, and they knew that the man was innocent, but they killed him anyway. He didn't kill anybody before that. He did some robberies, they say. He did some robberies. So he was executed based on skin color and prior behavior, his prior record. They used it against him, and they said, you know what, we're gonna kill him anyway. And they killed that man. They knew that man was innocent. The evidence was there. And they straight up ignored it. And I want to say it was George Bush. I think it was the daddy who killed him. No. Let me back up. It was the son when he was governor. He had an opportunity to give the man some justice. He had an opportunity to commute his sentence. And he let those people kill that man. Now, back to blue. It's amazing how those out there, let's talk about that. You got people who want to back the blue. Back the blue. It's like back the blue till it happens to you. Ain't that how it go? They love to back the blue. Well, nobody was out there fighting for him. Not the police union. They ain't out there fighting for him right now. They're not fighting for him. He out there all by himself. See, they'll fight for you as long as they got an easy win, but when they know it's on, they ain't finna fight. They're not finna do nothing. They're gonna lay it down. They're gonna lay it down, fam. So here's my thing, fam. At the end of the day, when it comes to spouses who murder spouses, to me, that's like one of the dumbest crimes to ever commit. You don't commit a crime, like, look, automatically you're operating from a deficit. If you murder your spouse, you are the prime suspect. You can do everything right and still get caught because you are the prime suspect. That means all eyes on you. That means you got to be perfect for the rest of your life. You can't slip up one time because everybody is going to suspect that you did it. And I'm going to tell you this. If it came down to one of my loved ones, I don't care how perfect the dude seemed. I'm going to think he did it. I don't care how perfect the woman is. I'm going to think she did it. I'm going to suspect her first. That's just what it is. But what say you, fam? What's a reasonable amount of time to execute somebody? A year? All right. 5 years, 10, 20, 30? What's a reasonable amount of time to let an inmate sit and use up state funds, state and government, federal funds for housing and food and all of this stuff? What's a reasonable amount of time to say, okay, that's it. Justice must be served. I know some of y'all are real cynical. Some of y'all over there talking about, hey, man, right after you get found guilty, you got 2 hours. That's it. Get it. What's a reasonable amount of time, fam? What's reasonable? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.